Hey everybody, Boris speaking for us. Welcome to the weekly technicals for the crosses from May 6th to May 10th, 2019. And I'm taking a little bit of contrarian view this week on some of the crosses, especially on the pound side. We'll see how well that works out. But my view is really much more technical than it is fundamental as we enter the week. So let me show you share with you some of the ideas that I have, and I'll show you on the charts what I mean. So pound CAD, resistance 178, support 175. That's a pair that looks very, very good on the charts, but notoriously does a big reversal usually. And I think pound here is kind of outrun its enthusiasm for the near term. We'll see if there's a little bit of a correction in pound CAD here as we go forward, especially against some pretty serious resistance to the upside. Euro pound, same story here. It's coming into triple support at 85. So it really would have to just press so hard to break that 84.50 support at this point. And I think at least a medium-term bounce should be due. And of course, a pair that just seems to be made for the absolute latest headline that we have going on right now, which is the Trump-China war escalates. Odd yen is the poster child for risk-off flows. And of course now at 79.76, it looks very, very ripe for potentially further downside action if this situation does not cool off or improve over the next 48 hours. So let's take a look at each one of these charts and just see how they're setting up. Okay, let's look at Euro Pound first as a potential trade here. So here we are, Euro Pound. You can see clearly stretched so far away from the moving average here. Usually when we get these big stretches in the Euro Pound well away of the moving average, we have at least a modicum of bounce and very often a very strong bounce back up to the moving average, which is why I'm basically making the claim here that I think we have a reasonable chance to pop back up to at least 85.50, maybe 85.75. Of course, this 85 level here, very strong. 85, the lows here are what, 84.75. So this is really the key morass of support here. And underneath 84.50, then, of course, it creates a fresh new downward trend and just changes the whole shift of the trade. But I do think there's at least a modicum of a chance here of a bounce, and I think it's a pretty decent trade on a contrarian basis. A pound CAD, similar kind of a story. I might as well do both of the pounds at the same time, and we can see how that's trading. That's probably not as... So that's... still challenging the upper end of the channel here at around, what is that, 76.95, 77. But it has this very strong trend line resistance at the 78 handle, as you can see. And it also is very steeply outstretched off the moving average here. This is really, in fact, when you're looking at this particular cross trade, just a bet on the fact that pound comes in a little bit, that we get underneath the 131s. I don't think that CAD is going to strengthen much. It's essentially going to stay stationary, which is really what you want it to do in this particular situation. And you're looking just for a pound to trade off and come back towards the moving average. This thing certainly could perk up and extend through the 178s, so that's why I caution you. But I think like sort of 178.10 pretty much should give you enough room to survive any false push higher. And then very likely we're probably going to come back and connect back to the moving average as we revert to the mean. So that's why the pound CAD, to me, sort of an interesting trade to the downside. And then finally, of course, odd yen, that's going to be the poster child for risk today, or risk off today. It's already having just this massive decline. I mean, this is almost before we even open up for trade here, as I'm just making this video just before the opening of the market, what, 70, we started around 78. We're almost at 77. We're practically at the point of contact here that broke all the levels here. And then, of course, the really big support level is going to be the 76.75s, which is the fat finger move of beginning of January. And I think there's a reasonable chance here we could kind of extend here if all of these flows get even ugly. I mean, this is basically, if we go to 110 on dollar yen, it really feels likely that Aussie yen is certainly going to go to 76 over the next 24 to 48 hours, especially with RBA looking to cut. Everything could change. RBA could surprise, of course. Anything could happen. But generally, the flow here is to the downside, and I think that's the way you should be trading it as you go forward. So that's how the week shapes up. I wish you guys the best luck. The best of trading. Should be a very interesting week as we open up just in a few minutes here for the Australian Open. Take care. Bye-bye.